Taylor's Bell Foundry in Loughborough in the 1980s. The bell was not actually ready, so I travelled back to record another bell that was the same size and the same pitch in a nearby church tower. The bell that actually became Hal's Bell was still in a big pit of sand at Taylor's, ready to come out when it had fully cooled down. Now, the problem was that we were all very much bell recording virgins at this point in time, and what none of us had actually thought about was that the other thing that inhabits bell towers are birds, especially pigeons. So the first time we attempted the recording was with the Rolling Stones mobile recording studio, big truck parked outside this church. We put a load of microphones into the bell tower and hit the bell, or rang the bell. And of course, the first thing that we heard was the mass fluttering of birds exiting the bell tower. And by the time the bell had stopped swinging and was ready to be hit again, of course, they'd all come back again. So I then had to sort of go back to Taylor's and say, look, this hasn't worked. Thanks very much for organising it, but we need to think of something else. So that was when they said, well, the guy that has been making the bell has said it's probably safe to take it out of the sand now. The Rolling Stones recording studio wasn't available, so a friend of mine ran another mobile, which belonged to Ronnie Lane from the Faces, built in an Airstream caravan, a long silver bullet shape. Quite extraordinary, very futuristic, certainly at that time. So we had this scene of this Victorian bell foundry with this extraordinary silver bullet parked inside it and lots of cables and microphones set up. And that's where we recorded the bell, and it's significant to point out that the man that made the bell actually played the bell that ended up on the album.
Greg Pretorius, a classic rocker at heart, and I was lucky enough to be involved with ACDC at the beginning of their tour for their mega-selling album, Back in Black. I produced one of their early shows on that tour at Nassau Coliseum on Long Island in New York. When the bell got to the back of the truck, it took 5, 6, 7 people to guide it down the ramp. It was that heavy. We wheeled it across the concrete floor, no problem. We got it to the front of the stage. Forklift comes over, puts its 2 prongs underneath the road case, lifts it with a lot of groans and whirs. I mean, we were kind of worried that forklift might tip forward, but it raised the bell in its case above the stage, moved forward to rest it on the stage. Everybody was like, okay, great. And the weight of the bell on its 4 casters just sunk the casters right through the stage. 4 holes, pop, 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 and there it sat. Luckily, the band knew what to do. This was not, in America, as we say, not their first rodeo. So they promptly had a winch lowered down with a hook. They hooked it around the cannon of the bell, slowly started winching it up, and the bell slowly tipped to its side. Everybody kind of cleared away for a moment, but then they all gathered around it to guide it up towards the ceiling. And we all looked at him and go, okay, I guess you guys got your work cut out for you on this tour.
Everybody come down now.
There are the large bells that have been cast by Taylor's. For instance, the large bell at Liverpool Cathedral, cast in 1940, that's 14 tons.